How does a non-technical person lead a tech team? Well, it's not by becoming a programmer. It's by knowing what success looks like in the thing that you're building. So in this episode, you will learn how to define the core metric that guides your product's success. And it's the same metric that investors look for when deciding whether to write you a check. Whether you're building an app, a platform, or an algorithm, this concept will help you lead with clarity, ask the right questions, and make smarter decisions faster.
Hello and welcome to the Tech for Non-Techies podcast. I'm your host, Sophia. If you're a non-technical founder building a tech product or adding AI to your business, you're in the right place. Each week, you'll get practical strategies, step-by-step playbooks, and real-world case studies to help you launch and scale a tech business without learning to code. And this is not another startup show full of jargon, venture capital theater, or tech bro bravado. Here, we focus on building useful products that make money without hype and without code. I've written for the Harvard Business Review and lectured at Oxford, London Business School, and Chicago Booth, so you are in safe hands. I've also helped hundreds of founders go from concept to scalable product. And now it's your turn. So let's dive in.
Hello, smart people. How are you today? I am currently in Abu Dhabi and I went to the beach and swam in the sea on the 1st of November. And that was such a treat. I recommend it to all of you. In today's episode, we are going to cover a core concept and we are revisiting an important lesson from the archives of this very show. You're going to learn how to measure success in your product, whether that product is an app, a platform, or an algorithm. Basically, a digital thing, a tech thing that you're creating. And this lesson is foundational knowledge for non-technical founders. And this is what helps you lead your tech team. And it's also a concept that tech investors are really, really interested in. So listen up. You can't tell your tech team how to code, but you can tell them what success looks like. That's a common language that both of you have. And this is how non-technical founders lead tech teams successfully. This episode originally aired in 2021, and originally it was episode number 42. So if you're new to this show, I highly recommend that you go back and listen to the early episodes because there are lots of really useful foundational concepts. And now, here is your lesson. In this episode, I want to teach you a key concept that I talk about in all of my courses, and that is how to measure the success of your product. You need to have a clear idea of what success looks like for what you're building, whether that's a site, an app, or an algorithm. Put simply, if you don't know where you're going, you're not going to get there. Founders, product managers, and investors need to know what the key metric of success is for a product. So then you can measure whether you're getting there or whether you're veering off. So this episode is especially important for founders, product managers, and investors, but really for anybody who is funding tech product or working on product teams. So developers have asked me about what is the product metric that we're working towards, because that's a product metric that they're working towards. Designers have asked me the same thing. So literally, this episode is important for anybody who is making tech products or funding them. But remember, what is a product? We have an episode on that on this very podcast. It was just a few episodes ago. So go back and listen to the What is a Product episode. It is one of the core concepts. Put simply, a product is a solution to a problem that somebody is experiencing. I like to use the example of a glass. I use a glass because I'm thirsty and I want a sip of water. The glass is a solution to my problem. As a user, I'm thinking about my problem being that I'm thirsty. I'm not thinking about the solution. I'm not sitting here thinking, geez, I really want to use a glass. No, I'm thinking I want to relieve myself of my thirst. And the glass helps me do that. Now that we've identified that a product is a solution to a problem that somebody is experiencing, it follows then that the goal of your product is to solve that problem. So literally, that's the most important thing you need to know. The goal of your product is to solve a problem for somebody. So let me tell you what a goal is not. Gamification is not a goal. Having videos in the product is not a goal. Having 10 or 100 screens in your app, that is not a goal. All of these might help you reach your goal, but they are just tools, they're just steps that you would take to get there. So this is all quite theoretical. So let's talk about something that you are all familiar with, or I would imagine most of you are familiar with this. Airbnb. If you're not familiar with Airbnb, then look it up. I'm just going to assume that you are, and let's go forward. Today, you can get a castle on Airbnb, but it had much more humble beginnings. It was not a castle's lettings agency. The founders of Airbnb began renting out nights on their air mattress in their apartments, literally to make ends meet. Like, they didn't have much money, they had an air mattress, they were both designers, and there was a design conference happening in San Francisco, and they literally just put out an ad to people who were coming to the design conference saying, we've got this air mattress, we've got some toast, it's going to be lovely, we're also going to the conference, come and stay with us, and it's not going to be very expensive. Once that worked, other people in the founders network basically started joining them and started doing the same. So renting out spare capacity in their homes. What they were renting out were air mattresses, sofa beds, spare rooms to get a bit of extra cash. The first people who were using Airbnb were not looking for castles. They were looking for cheap accommodation for when they travel. This is a perfect match. You have people who want to save a bit of money when they're traveling, and you want to have people who want to make a little bit of money and have capacity. The metric of success for both of these people was a booking. If a booking is made, a guest gets a cheap place to stay, and the host gets paid. So the key metric the Airbnb product would measure is the number of nights booked. Think about it. Each night represents a problem being solved for the host and the guest. So Airbnb is measuring the number of nights booked. The number of nights booked, the number of problems solved, because a product is a solution to a problem. So when you're thinking of building a product or funding one, think about what metric you want to see that says, yes, we are solving the problem for this person. So this is why you always need to go back to the problem that you're solving and to the person whom you're solving it for. Let's use another famous example, Facebook. What problem is Facebook solving for people? And here I mean consumers, users. It's social connection, connecting with people, seeing what they're up to, sharing your news. As humans, we want to connect with people. And God, haven't we really learned that during this pandemic? And Facebook helps us solve that problem in the digital world. A key metric for Facebook then is daily active users. Literally, how many people have used Facebook today? How many people went on Facebook to socialize in some capacity? Whether that is maybe posting an update or commenting on somebody else's update, or just seeing what their network is up to. Literally just socializing a little bit. Note how, in both of the cases that I've given you, Airbnb and Facebook, I haven't talked about money, but Airbnb and Facebook are both making lots of money. So the point to note here is that a product goal is not the same as a business goal. This is really important. A product goal is not the same as a business goal. Business goals relate to money. Product goals relate to solving a problem. Let me repeat that again because it is so important. Business goals relate to money, and product goals relate to solving a problem. It's then up to you to figure out how to make money from solving the problem, and thus link the product metrics to business metrics. So let's go back to Airbnb. You could have a great product metric and crappy business metrics. So for example, you could have lots and lots of nights booked, But if the cut that you're taking from those booking payments, the cut that you're taking is very small, you won't be able to pay for the tech infrastructure to support this whole system. So you see, profits are not a product goal, they are a business goal. One of the things that product managers and founders have to work out is how product goals help you achieve business goals. And this is what investors are looking for too. Investors are in the game to make money. Literally, that is their whole job. So if you're an investor, always think about how reaching product goals is going to help a company make money. Let's have a look at our Facebook example. Consumers don't give Facebook money to use it. Facebook is free for consumers to use. Facebook monetizes our attention by selling advertising, for which, by the way, I pay as a business owner through gritted teeth because it is so expensive. It's so expensive. Anyway, I digress. The product goal for Facebook is daily active users. And the business goal is the revenue that they would get from their advertisers, like me, minus the cost, i.e. profit. Because that's what profit is, right? Revenue minus costs. And this is where terms like unit economics comes in, but we don't have the time to go into all of that in this podcast. Basically, to sum up, whether you are building a product or investing in one, you need to have a key metric in your product that you set as a goal. You can then measure if you are moving towards that goal, and you can see whether you're moving towards success. You need to have this goal visible. You need to have it on some kind of analytics panel that you refer to, and you check every time you release a new feature. Did releasing that new feature move you closer to your goal? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. But if you're constantly measuring success, if you're constantly iterating your product, releasing new versions, and you understand why you're releasing the versions, you understand, okay, we're releasing this new version in order to somehow get more bookings for nights on Airbnb. If you're getting more night bookings, that means whatever you're releasing happens to be working. The product goal must relate to the problem that you are solving. This means it's going to be different for different products. Airbnb's goal is different to the goal that Facebook has for its product because they are solving different problems. Product metrics are not the same as business metrics, so do not tell app developers and designers to make you more money. That will confuse them. You have to find a way to monetize the product, which means relating how you're solving that problem, so relating your product metric to your business metric. This is an introduction to the basic concept, but there is a lot more. So for example, in a lot of product metrics change over time, growth metrics certainly change over time, and as we have covered before, product metrics and growth metrics have to be kind of baked into each other. If you found this episode useful and insightful, which I assume you did because you are still here, then make sure to give this show a rating and a review wherever you get your podcast. And if you're not yet a subscriber, well, my dear, it's time to change that. This is the only show specifically for people who want to build tech products and lead tech ventures, but do not have technical backgrounds. So if that's you, this is the place to learn. And, you're learning for free, so what's not to like? And on that note, thank you very much for being with me today and listening to this episode, and I shall be back in your delightful smart ears next week. Ciao!